Things are going to start happening to me now.
You've done all the reading. You're a scholar. You're a professor. You've done all the reading. You've done the intellectual heavy lifting.
More or less, eat shit and die.
You wouldn't know a fact if it begged you all night long.
Want to give the wrong impression because I am very high.
Ran up behind him with a hatchet. Smash, smash, smash.
Yeah. Care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you. That
And yeah, I did need to have an open Andy that's set like someone else. Dave Smith always has the same thing. Nick Gillespie, I'm just coming in here. I don't know what to say. Andy is with me. I'm Tyler Yonke. Andy, welcome.
What up?
How you doing? How's your week?
Oh, it's been decent. Got a couple of raises at work last month, and so those are finally starting to hit my paycheck.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying there was like a female or maybe a male that was giving you a hard on. So you said
both, actually.
Okay, good.
When I look at you, I can't tell which one you are, but definitely that's the case.
That's sad. I think you should be able to tell, Andy. I'm a little disappointed in that.
I'm retarded, so
gender shaming. Who's got the more girl-like hair? That's what I want to know. You or me?
You definitely have product in your hair, so you.
I do have a little bit. But I don't know. Do you wear a hat at work?
Yeah.
Okay. That's solid. I was going to say, because maybe you spend time, you don't spend any time fixing your hair. I literally put stuff in there and I just do this and I'm done. I don't spend time. So it just looks this great every day.
Yeah, and something about Mary. I think she put something in her hair too.
Right. But that doesn't work as good. Okay, so everybody, welcome. This is the Libertarian Podcast Review. I should give us I'm Tyler. This is Andy. He's Garbage Man. I'm the garbage, as we say. We are going to do a Kill podcast at some point coming up. I've got at least one person already in the works, so that's good. But we're going to get, you and I are going to, we've said this, we're going to reach out to someone a little bit higher profile than the two of us, if that's possible. Come on and be the third, and we're going to run this like a proper fucking show for once.
Yeah, I don't know who we'll get. Have you been thinking any more about?
Should we just disclose some of the people we're thinking about? They're all white. Yeah. I don't know. Josh Smith, I think would be, this is just some off the top of my head. Josh, Robbie the Fire, Brian McWilliams, Clint, someone like this.
Brian McWilliams would be really good too.
He would be awesome. Right. Yeah, he would be. And he's already told me he would do it. I just have to, let's get him arranged and whatever. So
he's got that good radio voice too.
He does. I'm disappointed. How do you feel about your own voice on podcasts?
I don't know. I never listened to him back, so I'd probably be embarrassed.
All right. I don't. I'm always clearing my throat. I don't think I have a good radio voice. Yeah, Brian does have a great voice. I listened to ours again the other day. I really enjoyed a few weeks ago when we had him. I like to listen back to the ones that you come on because I'm like, who is this smart guy? And then I look and I'm like, oh, it's fucking Andy. That's something's wrong here. So
sometimes I'd be knowing things.
Right.
Occasionally.
Right. Okay. So just start off right here. If people want to find you, Andy, they can find you on
Grindr.
Odysee, Grindr. We've got some problems with that. Benzo says Josh and Clint, but I feel like they'd both say they're too busy. Really? I don't know about that. You review your own podcast. Yeah. So, and by the way, I have a Substack. I'm going to say this right here because that's another way you can find. It's just tyleryonke.substack.com. Yeah, my podcast is on there as well, and then I'm posting up some other things. So, evidently, every once in a while, there's some things, but you can actually have the podcast stream right from there. So that's another source if you want. There you go. Anything else before we head out into the unknown of the clips that we're going to be doing?
Don't follow me. Just go read Hoppian.org.
Okay. By the way, you just Kinsala is going to be on our show. He's already promised. Yeah. And by the way, I've been teasing, and this is, I swear to God, Nick Gillespie is going to come on the show. And then I'm like, okay, so Nick, and he's like, starts, okay, this week I'm on vacation. Next week I will figure it out. He comes back, he doesn't figure it out. So I'm like, hey, you still want to do that? I'm totally interested. I'll figure it out over the weekend. Nothing. And so I don't know. I mean, dude, if you don't want to come on, just tell me. It's fine. But he's such a tease, Andy.
You should just big time him. So if he ever does set up a date, be like, no, I actually got a bigger guest that day. I'm more high profile guest that day.
So Consolo is supposed to come on. We're going to talk. He was just doing some
PFS, Property of Freedom Society, and that's Hapa's yearly get together in Turkey. So highly recommend going to watch those lectures at PFS on YouTube. I'm excited. Hopefully, I gotta reach back out to Kinsella on Monday. I'm not like the most proficient in libertarian rights theory, but listening to Kinsella talk about it gets me like want to learn more. Makes me eager to learn more about it.
Yeah, I've been actually listening to a few of his old podcasts and a few things, and he does a really good job. Okay, we're going to start off right here with where's that? There we go. This is the intro. Tell me about this. I wrote a little Substack about family law, and we're going to keep going through this, and this sounds like it's right up our alley. So why don't you do the intro of what this is all about?
This is 50 Cent's son talking about the amount of child support he gets each month.
Okay. So how old is this child, man?
I have no idea.
Okay. So let me know if you can't hear it, but let's take it down just a little bit so it doesn't kill us all. All right.
$700 a month.
Okay.
First of all, who's he talking to? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay.
And I can't buy socks?
Listen to what I'm saying to you.
Right.
$6,700 a month, right? $6,700 a month in the state of New York City. You do the math.
Oh, I've done the math. I've been in child support, bro. I went to jail for it. So I said, so hold on.
Okay, cool.
$6,700
a month, right?
$6,700 a month, right?
You're talking about a Forbes lister. Hold on, wait, listen. You're talking about somebody that has problems with everybody. You can't just live in any neighborhood. $81K is not a substantial amount of money.
Hold on.
You can't just live anywhere.
And if he's contributing $6,700, that means your mom's got the other half. It ain't just for him to just take care of you. She got to take care of you. $700. Where's her $6,700 to go with him? Now y'all got $1,200, $1,300, $13,000 a month.
Oh my! See, hold on. Yo, choke. This is where you get it. This is where it goes down a bad path, brother. This is what I'm trying to tell you, bro. Yo, bro, $6,700. If I told you right now, right, you got to start your life over right now with $6,700 a month and rebuild your life.
Yes. With $6,700, I can.
You have nothing.
$6,700, yes, I can. I'm from the
I'm
from either or budget. $6,700, I'm good.
That's what I'm saying.
Nigga.
Yes.
With two
Choke,
kids.
this is what I'm saying to you. Choke, this is where you go wrong. You gotta stop comparing it. You comparing it to yourself, bro. You comparing it on your standard of lifestyle, bro. You cannot do that. Can't do that. Listen, Choke. I jumped out of a burning house, brother. I had nothing.
Okay.
67.
Okay, so what are the obvious problems with this besides he's an entitled little cunt?
Well, that's what I was going to say is that sometimes that child support can create those entitled cunts like that. Like that's the incentive.
Right.
The guy interviewing him or talking to him looked at him the same way I would have if somebody was telling me that like $6,700 a month's not enough.
Well, first of all,
crazy.
I mean, it should be known that this is not $6,700 a month that he gets for doing something. He gets, or his mom, let's just say it's him, gets $6,700 a month. And if he wants to work and make more, this is just, it's gravy. It doesn't knock into any of this. It's just on top of this. Now it's to his mom. So as soon as he's 18 and out of high school, the mom stops getting this, but she may get something else. I don't know if they were married, but, yeah, once again, $6,700 that she gets, and she could work too. So this is craziness.
Well, I doubt that they were married. Marriage isn't.
That's true.
Isn't very popular in that community. I was going to say that.
Right. First of all, I would just say that if you're watching this like him, right, and he's like, oh, my son's out there on, you can go to court and you could get the other party sanctioned and in trouble for. The child should never know what the amount is that they are getting, that the other party. So there's just rabid problems here all around. I mean, there's horrible people.
I didn't know that. So the child's not allowed to know what the mom's making in child support each month.
It's highly at least here in California, parents will get reprimanded. I've had parents lose custody time temporarily until they get their shit together for discussing court cases with their children. The child should not be knowing this is not appropriate. And then you want to go and say, oh, dad doesn't do X, Y, and he's only giving me $6,700 a month. I mean, come on. That's my accent. So yeah, this Benzo says the wrong member of the Curtis Jackson got shot. All right, there we go. True. Anyway, what do you have to think? What's you really wanted that clip, so tell me more about it.
Well, I don't know. You're the family law guy. I'm interested in the family law shit, so I figured you'd have a decent take on it. I learned something. You're not allowed to discuss court and child support arrangements with the child, so that's important shit to know.
Yeah. I mean, does it make sense to you?
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to, there's things that are child appropriate and things that aren't, but also like we're talking about a community that, sells food stamp cards and shit.
Right. It's just
PPP loan fraud.
You're not supposed to discuss these things. And I'll give you a hint of what happened just the other night. My wife showed our 16-year-old. So she has an ex, and he's been nowhere in the picture. We don't know anything about him. But every once in a while, you get a little bit of money that just happens to pop in through Department of Child Support Services from him. Like he accidentally didn't work under the table, and money got into his account. Like over COVID, all of a sudden you'd see money coming in because he got COVID money. And the other day, she got a payment for $2.95.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so she actually showed her son that the other day. I was like, hey, that burger we just bought, it's not all on us. So, all right, I'll stop painting. Okay, let's go to another one. Maybe something a little bit more serious. Michael Malice had on his show. Do you know who this is? Do you know who Ann Coulter is?
Hell yeah.
Of course you do. What do you think of Ann Coulter?
Tell her to hit me up if you ever talk to her.
I'm not going to talk to her. So I know Malice wrote about her in his the New Right book. He didn't bring it up in the podcast. I'm just going to play you 2 clips here. It was actually pretty good, but I'm not a huge fan of her one way or another. But I thought it was some interesting parts of what he tries to. I don't know if she fumbles the ball or whatnot. But
she's actually like pretty bright. I think
she
doesn't get enough credit for like tapping into what like the populist right base should be about.
She actually, she had a book there, In Trump We Trust. Mm-hmm. Now she hates Trump, but her point about this, she goes, if you actually read the book, and this podcast talks about it, it's actually talking about, hey, get someone that's not dumb like Trump and tie into the same populist, what he's doing, and use someone that could speak instead of him. And this is your way forward. So the ideas and the what he done. Magoo says, Ann Coulter, you mean Forrest Grant? Yeah. Yeah. Good,
I don't know.
Call.
Ann Coulter is hotter to me. So.
Okay. I haven't seen all the goods, but it will take your word for it. Okay. So this is Malice talking about his progressivism or conservatism is, well, you'll hear it.
Blake often quotes my quote without attribution, but it's okay, Mr. Masters, that conservatism is progressivism driving the speed limit. Do you agree with that quote? And if not, what does conservatism actually mean to you?
That's a really good quote. I didn't know about it, and good for Blake Masters.
Well, good for me. I thought of it. He's just stealing my line.
Oh, I'm saying good for him for stealing from you. I think I was going to say, imitation, sincerest form of flattery. At least he's stealing from the best, Michael. I'm proud of the little guy. No, that is well put, and I will illustrate what I mean by that, or why I agree with that. And that is in 2016, throughout the campaign, I realized that I'm every time I go out in New York, I'm meeting Bernie Sanders voters and persuading them to vote for Trump, which wasn't that hard, because point by point, I mean, compared to Hillary, Bernie Sanders cares about Americans. He's not a race-based guy. He's more of a commie in the old sense of class-based. So he cares. He seemed to. I mean, he's sort of changed now that he's become more of a Democrat. I liked him more when he was a socialist. He seemed to care about the working class. He absolutely opposed illegal immigration because of what it does to the working class in America. Oh, everybody forgets that quote from Bernie Sanders. And then he checks back in with, headquarters at the DNC. No, we're for mass immigration, driving down the working class's wages. Bringing manufacturing home, tariffs, no more wars. Bernie Sanders and Trump's positions, of all the candidates running for president in 2016, those two had the closest positions.
Okay, before we go on, because then she didn't really answer the question, but I just want to kind of get your input on what do you think about, because she took that from Michael Malice, it sounds like to me, as a positive.
Oh yeah, well she dunks on people like McConnell and stuff like that too. So I think,
but she just compared like progressivism and conservatism. It sounds like one's just faster than the other. Look, all these Bernie bros, they're actually very similar to Trump. Like what they like, and I've always said that too. I think they have a lot of the same. They recognize the same problems. Their solutions are somewhat different. My problem with Trump is he's always just said, "Oh, I can manage this problem better than everyone else," rather than actually solving the problem.
Yeah, he doesn't work out enough.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
That's my take on it. He's tan, but he's not jacked, so he could only do half of what he should be doing.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. There's definitely something to the populist left and populist right having similar problem recognition, I guess. Like they understand that some fuckery is afoot, but can't always place their finger on it, or often misguided by people saying they know how to solve it. It just exasperates the problems.
Yeah. Benzo says Bill Ottman is on Timcast right now. By the way, I don't know who he is, but I saw Lydia was leaving Timcast. She announced. So all those people concerned that, LPNH, they're booking, Dave's concerned about getting on Timcast because she's the booker. You don't have to worry about it anymore. LPNH, hit it. Let's go hard. Okay, maybe not. Okay, let me continue on here.
But then what does conservatism mean to you, though?
Well, he was crazy on economics.
No, I mean you, Ann Coulter. Like, what does the term conservatism mean? You say you're conservative, that people often have problems defining what they mean by that term, other than some kind of vague opposition to leftism.
Well, I guess I mostly want to, it's so much at the top of my mind. There might be other things I care about, but preserving the country our founders bequeathed to us, and we are so far from that. That isn't just a BS line. I mean, the freedom of speech, freedom of association, individuality, the right to bear arms. That's the country our founders created for us. And in polls, you can see the longer people have been here, the more they understand it. We are very unusual in the world with the amount of freedom we have. So basically any immigrant we bring in an immigrant from Great Britain, by definition, we're becoming less free. Or at least we have someone who will be less interested in freedom. Americans, it's part of our genes to believe in freedom and individuality and individual rights. And wow, the people we're bringing in it's not that they even don't believe it, they don't understand it.
Okay, I'm going to stop there because did you feel that she answered the question? Were you
yes,
paying attention?
Yes and no. I was looking at those yams, those sweater puppies she had, but yes.
Right, okay.
I mean, she definitely has a point talking about immigration. She has a point talking about, we were definitely closer to a more free society back in the Jeffersonian times.
Sure. But she didn't answer what conservatism means to her. She just rattled off about, and I thought it was
freedom.
Interesting.
Just, I guess, freedom. I don't know.
In which way? I mean, lefties think their way's freedom too. So I just thought it was interesting that when he said, well, what does it mean to you? She's like, well, I've got a lot of things on my mind.
You would think someone like Ann Coulter would just have like a definition right off the top of her head, like something clear and concise.
Right. She says Bill Ottman's the minds guy. Okay. I don't know. Should we just tune into Tim Pool right now?
We're not giving him views. Timcast is canceled.
That's what I have. The redheaded libertarian was on there the other night, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll try it. And I started it, and they said, "Tell us about you." And she said, "I have cats." And I click. I was done. Not that I don't mind cats, but I'm like, that's you're on a huge platform, and that's your answer. I was like, okay, well, there you go. And whatever. I've already had spats with her online because she's not that great. Let's keep going here. I've got.
Don't let me get on Timcast and answer that question. Right. That's all I can say.
I thought this was an interesting podcast with these guys. These guys being Guy Swan and Clint, and they talk economics, and I think they do a really good job of it. But I found this to be an interesting, and I don't think Guy understood where he was at on this, but I'll play
Who
Dave's
is Guy Swan? I've never heard of him.
He's like a Bitcoin maximalist. I don't know if he's maximalist, probably, but a big Bitcoin guy. He's got a podcast. Okay. He knows what he's talking about, kind of Austrian economics kind of thing. And all that. JC says, hearing Lydia has her own show now is like hearing about the 1,000th Star Wars spinoff. Literally no one asked for. True. That's he's a Bitcoin guru. There you go. Okay, let's just check this out.
Understand that, but what is it that I'm missing that all these Bitcoin people always tell me, where they're like, Bitcoin solves all of this, you're wasting your time talking about this other shit, you got it, Bitcoin is the answer to all these problems, and at the same time we're furious at you for not talking about Bitcoin.
Talk about Bitcoin, we hate you.
Well, if it solves all this, why do you care if I talk about it or not? You know what I mean? So like, what is it? I don't know, school me, Guy.
All right, so the first thing is, like, in the context of like a depression as opposed to hyperinflation, a depression in the context of like actually having fiscal stability, a fiscal sense, is that Bitcoin forces the hand if it becomes the ultimate saving.
I'm sorry, are you vaping too, Andy, or are you just smoking?
In solidarity with Dave Smith.
All right.
Vehicle. Like, I actually think Bitcoin is a mechanism to, if enough value is routed into Bitcoin, is routed into something that sits outside of the authority of monetary instruments. Everything that exists in the current monetary system is a thing of authority. You're just talking about it, like, right when I got in here before we started the show, is that you don't actually own your house. Like, at the end of the day, like, everything is just a token by authority. Like, the actual money is just, do you have permission to be an institution that says someone has money? And then you have it if that institution says it. But it literally just doesn't exist otherwise. The only way to actually force their hand for fiscal responsibility is to remove their ability to be fiscally irresponsible, is to remove their ability to manipulate and buy their own debt, which means that the value of the thing that they are using we have to take our value out of it. The only reason fiat works the way it works is because we are pushing it. We are behind this giant behemoth. And every single time they want to purchase something, they want resources from the economy, we are accepting it and we are holding our value in it, which means that we're the only reason it is being held up. It's like all the people on the plank that are holding up the politician. We are that for fiat. If we divest from that, we just stop pushing it. We just stop pushing it, and it will steamroll, and people will have to just kind of exit in droves. And what will happen is they simply won't be able to buy their own debt. A bond liquidation will occur, and you'll actually have to go back to fiscal responsibility. They'll have to have the requisite value in order to, which means they will either have to tax everybody at 100% or they have to default. And if we're using their money, that's not possible. We're the ones supporting them being able to postpone this indefinitely. But a depression, for them to default, it would actually reallocate everything. The only reason that all of this misallocation has happened, and think about the cultural consequences of this, like, it's so easy to get lost in the kind of chaos of the branches and leaves of everything that's happened, because there's like a billion things happening at once, right? There's like crazy woke culture stuff. There's riots. There's a war. There's all of these things. But where is the misinformation that's just sending everything into chaotic, into all the different ways that's making this culture of nihilism?
Okay, I'm done with that. But so what I found interesting there is that, wait, we've got some other ones here. I don't know if they're talking about us or not. What the F is Guy talking about? I'll get to it here. This is Beyond Dumb. Okay. So I actually got the feeling that.
Yeah, Drew. Shout out to Drew.
Thanks for putting that in.
He put me in his latest, I had a cameo in his latest YouTube video.
I need to see that. I used to watch his all the time, and then he would remove his videos, and then he'd be back, and then he doesn't like KFC, or he likes KFC. I don't know. There's some other things he's got going on there. I got this to me felt like Bitcoin Shrugged. This was the premise of Atlas Shrugged with Bitcoin. That's I don't know if you get any kind of vibes from that, which is I don't know if you ever read the book or saw the horrible movies, but
no, I've only read The Fountainhead.
Okay, so the premise is you've got all these people, the engines of the world, the producers, the big manufacturers, whatnot. They just decide to remove themselves and stop supporting, their captors in a sense and paying taxes and doing whatever else. They're just going to remove themselves from and that to me is kind of what his premise is here.
Is that Galt's Gulch or whatever?
Right. They go to Galt's Gulch, and then there's a pirate that's doing other things, and Francisco's ruining his own companies, all these other things. But it sounds like to me it's kind of the same premise what he's saying with Bitcoin of it becomes use it to the point where the other currencies kind of fall away in a sense. I don't know. What was your thought?
I'm not a huge Bitcoin guy, but as far as I know, you still use fiat money to buy Bitcoins.
Right.
Unless you're mining it yourself, which most people are not. Most people who have Bitcoin, I suspect, probably aren't miners. So I don't know. Also, just thinking about comparing Bitcoin to gold is interesting to me because of the standard, because Bitcoin has a fixed standard, whereas, someone could find a gold mine tomorrow and, that would have an influence on market prices of gold. So a lot of times when people think about, just commodities in general, they think that, scarcity does exist, but we don't always know to what extent. Right. So you could find an oil well or a gold mine tomorrow.
Yeah, you could. Let's go to the real subject here. JC wants to know new directions for your channel, Drew. Maybe you could hit us up so we can answer that for everybody, because we are interested. Drew's participating in the internet, then he's not. He's the tall, non-Russian Michael Malice.
He looks like, I love Drew, but he looks like the guy from Blade Runner, the first one.
Okay. Harrison Ford or someone else?
No, like the synth.
Oh, I haven't seen that one in a long time, since like 85.
But Drew, if Drew's still watching, I want to get Drew on my Odysee channel to watch some of these PFS lectures if he's interested to do a watch along.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what that means. Oh, those lecture thingies. Gotcha.
Yeah, the Hoppa lectures.
Right. So keep, hang on. Drew's going to actually join us here. Maybe we'll get some input on, there we go. Drew, I'm going to send you a link and you can come in anytime you want. Okay. Maybe we'll wait and see if he comes in. Send me a link to join the show. Yeah, you did. Okay. So maybe we'll wait to see if he wants to make some comments. I got another one here on Clint and Guy talking about Bitcoin, and then we'll kind of move on and maybe do some more enjoyable things here.
Clint was awfully fidgety in that clip.
That's maybe part of the problem of having the cameras right up, too close up to everybody. Okay. I'll just start this one in.
By the way, I recognize not the way that you're selling it, but the way that others have been, what's attracted them to Bitcoin, that's taken a real hit in the last year.
Yeah, the inflation hedge one is something I've talked about a good bit recently on the show, just because when it literally did beautifully in the context of inflation of the money supply, but it's not about CPI, and that's what everybody thinks about when they're talking about inflation is CPI. And when Bitcoin basically went parabolic this last time is when the money printers went full force, is when and you saw in all asset prices, and Bitcoin essentially outperformed, is, Bitcoin went from 6.
Okay. Drew, what do you think of what he said so far in this clip?
I haven't heard a word that he said in this clip.
Right. Well, that's exactly how we like it. Welcome, by the way. So you had a problem with his last one.
Yeah, I think that's just retarded that he's saying the only reason why fiat currency still functions is because people buy into it. No, it still functions because you have to pay your fucking taxes through it. And like, that's, yeah.
So do you have any idea? Oh, like, does he have any kind of semblance of an idea of solutions with what he's saying? I mean, is it possible to like kind of drown out by everyone uses it and then you kind of like, you're not supporting the fiat system anymore?
Like, I think that's basically just the agorist argument, pretty much. Like, oh, we're going to participate in black markets and we're just going to bleed the system. The problem with Bitcoin doesn't work as a currency, first off. It's way too slow. You can't use it as a currency. Transaction fees are too high. It's too volatile still. I mean, someone posted a thing that the stock market actually was more volatile, or the Dow was more volatile than Bitcoin this past week or whatever. But still, I mean, I don't think, I just don't really buy it. I don't like maxis to begin with because I don't understand why they have a big problem with other cryptocurrencies. Right. Like, and then, you see these places, these different governments implement Bitcoin and they always cheer it because, implementing their currency is the one currency that's good. But, how dare you have competition in the cryptocurrency space? But
currencies do tend to monopolize, though, just because you have a standard, like whereas gold was the standard around the world for hundreds of years.
Yeah, because like when you have competition, then the best one's going to rise to the top. So like if you do believe Bitcoin's the best, then you don't need to mandate that it's the one. Like that'll just happen.
Yeah.
So
there'll be market forces that drive it.
Have you tried Bitcoin Cash? Because it's a little bit cheaper. It's supposed to be not quite as fluctuate quite as much, and the transaction fees are okay. There you go.
Everything I just said, Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency I have any money in. So let's just put that clear.
Okay. Okay, so no. What about Ripple? Let's keep going. I'll just get, even though you said it's the only one. Ripple. Even though you say it's the only one, I'm just going to keep adding all the ones.
I have library credits too, if you want to count that.
Well, okay, that's what's going to be my next.
Have those.
That's how you get paid, right?
Yes, I get paid in library credits.
Wait, so you were saying can you pay your taxes in anything other than fiat?
In Colorado, they did just pass a thing saying that there you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. But so we'll see if that takes off. But I mean, for the time being, when you go to the store, they're going to ask for fiat. When you go to the government's office, whenever I go to the DMV in a couple weeks here, they're going to ask me for dollars. I mean,
you turned 16?
Yep, I turned 16 the other day.
When you're buying Bitcoin, what do they want?
They want either dollars or they want other cryptocurrencies.
There you go.
All right. That was kind of my point before you joined on. It's like, as far as I know, people still buy Bitcoin with fiat money. So most people are not miners.
And Andy, I did hear your thing saying that I look like the guy from Blade Runner.
Hell yeah.
Whenever I first joined the chat, I almost said, Tyler, it's so nice of you to have a hippie on your show.
Oh, I thought it was a girl. Oh shit, it is a guy. Sorry, Andy.
Hell yeah. I'm gay.
Let's back up just a little. Yeah. JC says we have a Titans and Chiefs fan in the room. So who watched the game last night?
Oh, the Broncos Colts game?
Yes.
I watched the end of it.
Okay. Me too. Going for it or good or bad?
I like going for it because you kick the field goal there. There were 3 minutes left. Chances are you're either going to lose or it's going to end in a tie.
Right. You're at home. Go for it. I don't know. That's my idea.
Yeah, and he had the dude on the slant on the right, Hamler, wide open.
Right.
And people were sharing after the game like he was throwing his helmet down and shit, like he was mad.
Well, that's okay.
Because he was wide open.
But it is nice because, Cole was despondent in our group chat. So
I believe it.
Yeah, and it made me happy. I don't know.
I did not watch the game, and I thankfully didn't have any fantasy implications on the line. So
I thought you were at a girl's house.
Yeah, I was putting together IKEA furniture.
So you had some fantasy implications on the line?
Yes.
Okay.
But not in that game. In another game.
Whatever. Okay, let's get back to this highly volatile interview. There we go. I don't know if you know. I'm not going to re-cue it. Just asking, hey, Bitcoin's taking the shit. It's supposed to help against inflation. Why is it not doing that? When we're done with this one, Drew, we'll go into some more less highbrow topics.
I like everybody's face in that still right there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Clint's eyes, he has like the eyes of like a 12-year-old
girl.
Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, he looks like a ventriloquist dummy or some shit. Like,
he's got a filter. I don't know if that's Ashton's camera, but anyway.
69 or something like that, almost 70,000. But I think really, like, the thing to remember with Bitcoin is that it just kind of does its own thing. Like, I think it's correlated right now with a lot of risk assets and like equities and stuff like that, because it's responding to the finance environment, to interest rates and stuff. Like, when interest rates come down, it's been squeezed, right? Like, it's people just sold off risk assets like crazy because it looks like, you know, the Fed's getting hawkish and everything, and you're going to have a tight economy rather than, you know, loose money. And that is irrespective to the fact that CPI is going crazy, is that, you know, inflation, quote unquote, from the context of like the everyday man is going wild. But
okay, I'm not going to keep going but Drew, I'm interested in both of you. If so, he's trying to give reasons why Bitcoin's not been a hedge against inflation, or it's not been kind of standing out in a world. It's almost like worse off. So he's trying to make excuses. Any ideas? Either one of you guys want to make comments on that?
I zoned out on what he did. Like, I did not hear a word that he just said.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of and to paraphrase Norm Macdonald, comedy gobbledygook.
Okay, so I won't keep going on there. So this is a different interview. I don't know if either one of you had time to see this one, but we're gonna start off.
You bet I did.
Okay, let's start off with this one.
Big news! Donald Trump. Killer. All the girls see the void. Look at his kick. Void. Look at his car. Void. All I say is void.
Best intro ever.
Everybody, we got a guest, Mr. Dash Dabrowski. Dash, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on early for you too. You woke up.
Garbage man, sounds like you.
Considered waking up early here.
We're from similar parts of the country.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for that.
Yes, sir. I'm always up. I'm up at 5:30 in the morning every day. I like being up before the sunrise. So
Pulpo's Marlboro NASCAR jacket is hard as nails.
I'm not going to play this whole thing, although we should probably do a watch along and comment on it, but we're not going to do that right now. So let's first grade the open. I think it was a banger. Anybody else want to put a number?
11 out of 10.
Okay, that was pretty solid. Anybody know any background to this at all?
So I know that on the Not a Podcast Patreon, they like changed it to look like some left-wing group. Yeah. And then, I think that my favorite part of that clip is how Popo comes on with this fake ass Kentucky hick accent.
I don't think it's fake. I think he just
that's not how Popo talks.
He can tone it down or dial it up depending on the situation. Like if I get around my friends, my hick shit comes out more thick than even now.
So JC, I'll say, look, they don't do video, but it was all a ruse to get what's his name here? Dabrowski on. Yeah, they removed, I'm on their Patreon, and they removed everything and made it look all lefty. And then so is El Popo from Kentucky? He knew a lot of
Kentucky is.
Okay, because he knew a lot of Kentucky info. Such as I didn't know that they didn't know how to read.
In Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay.
I've spent Popo and I have talked a few times on the Twitter Spaces about some Kentucky shit, because I spent quite a bit of time in Kentucky. I had some friends in Louisville, and one of the best skate parks in the country is there. So we used to drive up from Nashville to Louisville all the time, and so I know a fair bit amount of Louisville knowledge. But he's definitely from Kentucky. I think this spawn, I don't know exactly what kicked it off, but I know Pulpo, being the master troll that he is, has been going at Dash for a while on the timeline and talking about the missing chicks or something like that. There's some backstory about some missing women in Dash Dabrowski's area or life or something he has some connection to.
So I did not know this. He's a senior at UCLA. I thought he was like some old dude. I mean, like 30 or something, 20 some. He's in college.
He was a child actor too.
Actor of what?
I can see that.
Yeah.
Dash Dabrowski was a child actor. I don't know in exactly what, but I know that part.
Well, you can tell that he's had like media training. Like he comes on there, Pulpo's talking in his fake voice. Dash is also talking in a fake voice. Like that's not what he actually sounds like. Like that's hey, I'm here, tune in 9 to 5 on the weekdays. This is my, that's how he's talking. It's not how he actually talks.
Drew, do you watch the whole thing? Did you come away
I
with
did watch the whole thing.
Did you come away with a different feeling about Dash than just seeing him on Twitter or maybe follow him on TikTok or something? I don't know.
I actually, yeah, he seems like a solid guy.
Oddly, he's a little deranged, but he did come across, he kept saying things like, oh, I'm trying to tone it down. There's like too much division and da-da-da. And so I thought that was interesting. It was almost, I was hoping Pulpo would troll him harder. I don't know.
Yeah, I did get kind of, do we just want to talk about what he says? I don't know if we want to spoil it. But
it's not on this is the live one, and by the way, that's out on YouTube, so I'm not stealing something off their Patreon.
Yeah, but like it does get, there were a couple points where it gets ridiculous, like the stuff he's saying. The Dash is like, oh really, I didn't know that. Like here in Kentucky, we don't learn how to read until our junior year of high school.
Right.
But for the most part, yeah, it was more subdued, or however you want to phrase it, than I thought.
I like that Dash didn't even notice when he got up to feed. Let's Michael.
let's play that part right now. You guys ready?
Am I interrupting something there?
No, you can't hear my dog.
No, I can't hear anything.
He's going nuts right now.
Brandon.
I love dogs.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna give him a little peanut butter ball. He loves them.
Sure. You cut me off on my rambling.
Dash is looking. Now he's nice library he has behind him. Okay.
What type of SSRIs is he on?
He's in the under.
All right. I gave him peanut butter. It's over for him. He loves them things.
Oh, nice.
All right, we'll let everyone check that show out themselves.
My favorite part of that whole interview, they're talking about Clarence Thomas, and Pulpo goes like, "Yeah, he's one of the good ones," and it just completely goes over his head.
Right. Well, then he was like, "Oh yeah, they call him the N-word online," and he's like, "What?" And he was getting offended by that. So
no, the best part, he mentions Dave Portnoy sucking dick in Lexington, and at first Dash is like laughing, and then he's like, "Oh well, people want to have that lifestyle. It's fine."
Right. Well, and that's when El Popo says, "Well, I'm a gay man," and right. All right. Solid work there. Okay. I have just a few other little clips and some stuff we can go out to if you want here. I don't even know. Let's see. This is.
It's your show, Tyler. Get it together.
Well, now I'm trying to find out why I can't. Oh, there it is. Okay. So Gavin Newsom comes out today. And he says gas prices are too high. 23 million Californians will be receiving up to $1,000 starting tomorrow. This will be the largest state tax rebate in the country, and it's heralded as Inflation Reduction Act or something like that. Drew, what's your understanding of inflation and the prospect of getting more money into the system?
So inflation is whenever the money supply increases. That's my thoughts on inflation.
So is his solution going to
So he said a tax rebate. So is it just like, are they getting tax refund or
No.
like stimulus checks or like, what is it?
Yeah, it's just, I didn't get any money. There's certain, levels of whatever here. My daughter's like, hey, did I get some money in my account? So they're
just equity based, right? So you didn't get any money because the color of your skin.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do I have to put that on my tax return? But yeah, it's based on your income, and then there's just between, I think it's like $1,300 is the top, down to a few $100s that people will just get Now they may be taxed on it. I don't know, sort of like the COVID stuff, but it's like they're actually calling it inflation reduction stimulus or something like that.
I predicted this months before it happened, actually. My retard brain. I said they're going to send inflation stimulus checks, aren't they? And sure enough, California did.
You did. You did.
If you can just think about the most retarded shit that a progressive would do, 10 minutes from now, it's going to happen. So.
Perfect.
You have a better prediction track record than Peter Schiff.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, this one, we're just going to throw some of these clips here. This body cam of a police officer. He was a rookie, and he came upon this nefarious teenager here. So I don't know if there's any volume.
Oh, yeah, Tyler. A teenager. I know what that's code for.
Get out of the car.
Oh, no.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Check this heart rate.
Shots fired on 3161, 11700, Blanco Road, code 320, 3161, 3101 on the camera there, 32.
All right.
Yeah, so what the hell was that for? You just had a burger?
So I read this story, and what happened, it was just some 16-year-old kid. This cop thought that it was someone that had evaded him the night before. So he came upon him. This kid's eating his burger and freaked out and drove away. And then the cop unloads on him. It's just some random 16-year-old eating a burger outside of the McDonald's or whatever it was.
Did he hit the kid at all?
So he did. The kid ended up pulling over, and they went to the hospital. This guy then, when it immediately happened, said that he shot at him because the kid was pulling away and ran over him. So he had to shoot at him. So then when they got the body cam, they actually fired him. So what do you
Does he
think
still
of
get
that,
his
guys?
pension?
Probably. So, my thoughts here are like, if this is happening to us, one of us, that's attempted murder, and he just loses his job.
Yeah, that was insane. That's a female cop behavior, but
you're talking about the accuracy that he couldn't put him down. Yeah.
And just quick to draw.
He was quick to draw. I mean, let's say it was a guy that evaded him the night before. Okay. Do you have to fill his car full of holes? I don't know. Drew, is this why you're going to the DMV? Was this someone you knew, or is this you?
Yes, I did evade the cops, and I'm trying to get new tags. That's all I got.
All right.
That's rough. Like the police body cam thing, I think it's really good for incidences like that, and people on Twitter are always happy to point those out. Yeah. But then they don't talk about all the instances where it shows like, no, actually the cops were kind of in the right on that instance, which happens more than people want to admit.
Yeah, like if they're clearing a bum shitting in a children's park or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, there are times whenever, people pull guns or knives on cops. That happens.
Subject to liability, of course, when they're found to be at fault.
I would suggest both of you watch the Nick Gillespie just had on a guy. He works for the Manhattan Institute, an attorney. He looks like Derek Jeter, and he talks like Ben Shapiro. So I don't know if they had a child, what happened here, but he wrote a book about criminal justice and the cops, and he's a little more on the Ben Shapiro side of some of this, but it's all facts and statistics, and I don't agree with him on everything, but it's pretty actually a good interview. So if you want to side with Drew that the cops are not wrong, then watch it.
Actually
I'm not saying like cops are good or
the
cops are never wrong, just for the record, because abolish the police, all that stuff.
Reason is actually fairly decent on some of the cop stuff. It's just the same writers who write about cops will write about economics or some cultural thing, and it's just an entire stain on the actual good things they do.
Right. I think, Drew, when you came on before and we had a conversation, I was talking about the blue-pilled libertarian, that you had really sparked off with your video. I personally, and I still do, I get Reason Magazine. I have it at my office because, in that kind of setting, it's very extreme compared to, people come in and see something like that. It's much different than, U.S. News and World Report or whatever. So I still think that they're a good gateway just because we've gone maybe past some of them. Or do you think, either one of you think that having some of the, like Reason in your bio, Billy Binion or some of these writers that are pretty pathetic?
I think the red pill, blue pill thing is stupid, in all honesty. I don't like any of that stuff.
You shouldn't have done a video on it at one point then.
I've done several videos on that. Yeah. Because I mean, listen,
have you
it's
moved past
one,
it?
it's one issue that yeah, I think that the press and whatever are in line with the government. Saying like, oh well, you're red pilled if you believe that, you're blue pilled if you don't believe that. You can be red pilled and still be a fucking idiot and have all sorts of bad ideas. You can still be blue pilled on that, blue pilled on one issue, and be great on a bunch of stuff like John Stossel. I mean, I don't think it's this idea of the cathedral that makes or breaks you.
Gotcha. So let me just answer this. JC says Radley Belko seems good. I think he writes for Reason or Cato. Neither. He used to write for the Post or one of those Washington Post or one of those, and he's got fired just like last week, and now he has his own Substack. So that's where you can find him out there. No, I agree with you, Andy. What about pills for you? Red, blue, fentanyl.
If you find some on the bus, take them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what color they are. Just take them, try it out, see what happens.
Okay, we're going to play another video here. This one is similar. I don't know why I'm on the cop thing, but this one was...
what's going on? No one else is in the truck, sir. Can I please get my cell phone?
I think this is in
Ma'am,
Oregon.
what's going on? I'll tell you in a second. I'm so confused. Can I get my cell phone?
This cop has the same tattoos as the last cop.
The window? She could have out that window, but who is that? Hart?
No, that's Tom Chan. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Stay back!
Dispatch 346. Status medical emergent. The suspect was in the vehicle that was hit by the train.
Watch the fence.
Like,
so
how do you
what do you think
park your car on the train tracks? Like, do they just not realize that, or that train's not going to come? Come on now. Like, how does that happen?
Look, if they were smart, they wouldn't be cops.
That's a good point.
So I don't know. It looked like that was her own car. Okay, so I think that she was handcuffed in there, unless that was a police car. I don't know, but someone was parked on the tracks, which is either you don't stop there for a traffic stop, or if you do, you police make you move. I don't know. It's odd.
So Tyler, if you're that lady's lawyer, what are you arguing in court?
A lot of money. Oh, that's a negligence. I mean, it's completely, it's one, there's multiple things you could probably do, but one of it is negligence, right? Then you have standards for different people, right? A doctor has a standard of care. A normal person to another person has a standard of care. They are now, she's detained. They have a standard of care, just like you would have in if she's in the jail and she's handcuffed and you're holding their head underwater, all these little things. So, you don't leave her like that in a car. So it's totally negligence, and you're trying to get, I talked about this one to my wife the other day, and she's like, oh, well, I said, she didn't die. She's like, well, she's probably got a lot of money coming at her. Yeah, that's true.
Well, there we go. It sounds like it worked out good for her.
This is straight up like comic book villain shit. Like you handcuff them and leave them on the railroad tracks. Yeah.
That's what it looked like, right? Where it all of a sudden switches to the other camera and you see the car getting swiped out.
This is just your average cop trying to solve the trolley problem.
What's the trolley problem?
Oh, you know the trolley problem.
I don't know the trolley problem.
You totally. If you've been on Twitter, you know the trolley. It's like if you don't do anything, 5 people are going to get run over by the trolley, or you can pull the lever and 3 people will get run over.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
I do know the trolley problem. Thank you.
I know you better than you know yourself.
I just didn't remember what it was called. But speaking of a train wreck, here we go. Let's
fit a train through those.
Right. Right. She's I don't know. Is that Mama David Letterman? I'm going to play this clip. You've probably seen this, but I think it's just hilarious.
The outcome. And I do have one very affirmative statement to make. We won. But I didn't lose. I got the votes. But we won't know exactly how many because of how they cheated. I did win my election. I just didn't get to have the job. We were robbed of an election.
Using the word rigged, using the word steal, do you think it's dangerous going into 2020?
I don't, because we can actually back it up. And so in response to what I believe was a stolen election, and I'm not saying they stole it from me, they stole it from the voters of Georgia. I spent the interim 10 days between the election and my non-concession day, as we call it, fact, someone outside asked if I'm ever going to concede. The answer is no. It was not a free and fair election. I think the election was stolen from the people of Georgia. I believe it was stolen from the voters. I just said it can't happen again. Thousands of Georgians had their voices stolen because they were not able to cast ballots, and they cannot be guaranteed that their votes will be counted in 2020 if we don't do this right. I said that the election was stolen from Georgia voters.
If it looks like it's cheating, it probably is. If it looks like it's rigged, it probably is.
The process that took place during the legislative cycle was one that did not countenance and did not pay attention to the deep and real concerns of those who watched this election be stolen in the state of Georgia.
It was stolen from the voters of Georgia. We do not know what they would have done because not every eligible Georgian was permitted to participate fully in the election.
Okay, so either of you have a disagreement that she probably knows what stealing is all about.
What are you saying, Tyler?
Oh,
I'm just going to say that Stacey Abrams is very attractive.
Oh God. Okay. let's so that you want to talk about who you were with last night? Is it similar looking?
No.
Is that your type? I don't know.
Look, I don't discriminate. I regulate.
Okay. I don't know. So recently, I think the government, Georgia, the voting laws that were, remember Biden said something about Jim Eagle laws, Jim Crow, and then he says Jim Eagle, and they changed them. I think they're considered constitutional. So are we going to have these same problems, you think, coming up of more stolen elections in Georgia? Anybody want to talk about their Georgia election laws? I don't know. Okay, you guys are doing great. We just need to sick the Indians.
No, wait, I was reading
You asked me a question, then pull up a chat.
I don't know, Andy.
Sicking the Indians on this broad.
I mean, as long as you have elections, people are going to contest them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you have the elections. Whoever loses is going to complain about it, which, if you're on the left, it's okay for you to do that. If you're on the right, it's not okay for you to. Then you're undermining the integrity of our elections.
Yeah, I'm fine with Shamu casting doubt on elections.
All right, this is our last clip, and this is the most. This is the one, Drew. Actually, I'm so glad you're here because you said this was hilarious. So I want to get your input. Okay, here we go. This is some
be up for a vote. Like, for example, who should represent the good people of the state of Arizona? That should be up for a vote. What should the age of consent be? This is something that reasonable minds disagree on. That should be up for a vote. Be up for a vote.
Okay, so as a short clip.
Shout out to those reasonable minds.
Like,
Drew?
So you're giving examples like, oh, okay, yeah, there are things that should be voted on. And let's just put aside that no, age of consent should not be voted on. Just put that aside for a second. You can pick any examples you want to. And one of the two you choose is age of consent laws.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I need to. Do I need to say why that's crazy, Tyler? Do we need to have a talk right now?
Yeah, I don't know. That's perfectly fine.
I would make an age of consent joke, but I don't think I'm old enough.
Oh, God. What's interesting is the age of consent for all states is different, right? There's not a federal age of consent. So in a sense, it already has been up for a vote. I mean, I'm not really sure what he's looking for, but you're saying, look, it's the toaster license thing, right? Where why are you talking about this when you can actually be talking about other things? He's in the news now.
Well, I don't even think it's that, because like with the toaster license thing, they were asked about drivers. It's like, why would you bring that up in the first? Like, you're running for, what's he running for? Governor or not governor? Senator in Arizona?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's against Blake Masters out there.
Yeah, why do you need to talk about age of consent? That would be like talking about Israel. Like, just don't.
I don't know. That seems a little bit out of context, the clip itself, because why is he just saying he's all about democracy and he wants voting on everything? I mean, you're right.
In the full clip, he says something like, no, your rights can't be taken away by votes. You have natural rights, blah, blah, blah. They can't be taken on votes. That being said, there are some things that should be up to a vote, like age of consent laws. Someone's going to clip that, me saying that out of context, probably. But
yeah, please
New
keep
intro
your
clip.
keep your answers short so I could clip them out of context easier. That's the idea.
I mean, there's a clip that someone made of me saying I'm a Nazi. So like, I got some good ones. I don't know. I'd
Right.
probably have people think I'm a Nazi than think I think age of consent should be voted on. If I had to pick one of the two.
Drew, you're just giving all the out of context clips now.
Yep.
Right. So Drew, JC had asked, what do you have planned for your channel?
We'll see. I mean, I don't really have anything planned. Last video did pretty good, actually. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. I'm not planning on making, I don't know. We'll see. I have ideas.
Oh, okay. Please don't share them all here with us. Stop. Slow down. I have not seen your last one because I guess I'll need to put notifications on. I saw you done a new one. Andy said he was featured in it. He was the star of the show. Is that true? Any truth to that?
He makes a 2-second appearance.
Okay. Naked? Dressed? Clothed?
He's got clothes on.
Should we watch it?
Should we vote?
Should we pull it up and view it?
Just the part where Andy shows up?
Or just the video itself. What's the context of the video? What are you getting back into? Commentary?
Yeah, so it's just like the videos I used to do. I'm talking about the Industrial Revolution, environmentalism, kind of economic progress and where wealth comes from, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Where does it come from?
And somehow Andy fits into all of this.
Oh, because garbage. Where does wealth come from?
Well,
From
I don't
garbage.
really say,
You just answered the question.
yeah. I guess not really where wealth comes from, but kind of how economic development happens. So Menger talks about in Principles of Economics. So there's kind of this Adam Smith idea that wealth came from an increasing division of labor, and that's certainly part of it, but it's not the entire equation because you can keep getting more and more, people doing different things. But in the example Menger uses is a primitive hunter-gatherer society. So you could have people fishing, you could have people gathering, you could have people hunting, blah, blah, blah. Until you start understanding capital goods and how they can be used in production, you're going to be capped because you're reliant on what nature provides. So, if you're reliant on gathering and no berries are around you, you're kind of fucked. Meanwhile, if you actually have a farm and you are controlling what you can grow and all that sort of stuff, then you're not reliant as much on nature. Obviously, you're still relying on wealth and all that sort of stuff. So as technology improves, as technology improves, as you have more capital goods, more ways to produce consumer goods, wealth increases because you're less reliant on nature. You're more in control of the quantities of consumer goods that will be available in the future.
Have you read Alex Epstein's new book, Fossil Future?
I have not. I've heard him speak. But
I haven't read it either, but when I watched your video, that's kind of what came to mind.
Yeah, I heard him on Stefan Molyneux probably like 7 years ago. And yeah, that was very influential, but then I never picked, and I listened to some of his debates, but then I never picked up any of his books.
He was on recently with Jeff Deist and Bob Murphy on the Mises Institute podcast. That was pretty good.
I have not heard that. I didn't know that Jeff Deist and Bob Murphy did a podcast together.
So it's a Human Action podcast, and it used to be just Jeff Deist, and he's had Murphy on there.
No,
I think
I knew the Human Action podcast where they would cover like Austrian books. Did they not do that anymore?
It's still the same name. They just kind of have gone off of that. So it used to be interview stuff, and then it was books, and now it's kind of back to interview with he and Bob doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. So Andy shows up around the 5 minute, or excuse me, Garbage Main shows up around the 5 minute mark in my newest video.
You can say my name as long as you don't say my last name.
I don't even know your last name.
Well, then we're good.
Yep.
Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to spoil it.
I'm guessing Johnson.
It's like Silverstein or Weissen something. It's a Jewish name, I'm pretty sure.
There's a
Jackson.
There's one chick on Twitter with like 30,000 followers. Like she's kind of, I'll just say her name, Hannah Griff. And one time I was replying to her and I like guessed her last name. Like I called her Hannah, whatever. And then she DM'd me and was like, "How did you know my last name?" I was like, "Oh shit." No, I didn't. That was totally, I'm just good like that.
Wow. That's a story for the ages. We'll put that one in the clips as well.
Caught in 4K, Drew interacting with women on Twitter.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Andy, Have you been able to be clairvoyant like that with a woman?
I can neither confirm nor deny my clairvoyancy with women.
Okay. Do women know what they want? I mean, can you really be clairvoyant with a woman? No.
No.
Yeah. So it's just maybe that's where we're at.
I need me to tell them what they want. That's where the clairvoyance comes in.
All right. Clairvoyance is whenever they say no, but I'm not going to finish what I was about to say. Not going to.
Right. This is that leads us down to, isn't that the Dave Smith problem? the 12 shots and the Joe Jorgensen. Hannah used to have a podcast too. Fun for a while. Okay.
She was on that like Liberty Girls podcast with like Sarah the Liberty Thought, and like it was her and Courtney Nill, and that shit was a train wreck. Their last episode was called like "Getting Off by Riding Horses" or something.
Oh yeah, I'll blow my brains out watching that. If somebody tried to make me watch that,
I spent more time editing my 50-second video than I have actually watching the show of them. I don't know. Drew, did you ever see my video breakdown of their show?
I think was that the one where it wasn't even a breakdown. You just kind of made fun of them. Or I'm trying to think what I did. I think I did, but I can't remember what it was. Play it for us.
Yeah, I actually have it here.
I'm gonna check and see if this Hannah Griff person has me blocked, because I would assume that they would.
Yeah, Andy, you go after like all of like Maggie. You've been going after lately. I like Maggie, but
she's retarded.
Okay, so I found it here. So let's this was my I think it's the most extensive breakdown of their podcast that you can probably have. So let's do it in full. And this is exactly how I watched their video.
Okay, so
it's not loud.
Oh my god, no, but it was funny because I started getting on like sober TikTok, and it was like all your friends don't do coke.
And so I was always used to things being like independent and you doing things yourself. And sort of Jolty Shul, because all I do is like gym and tan and laundry. It provides a lot of entertainment.
Yeah.
But my nephew, he had a lot of serious issues. Not serious, but like.
So who wants to go first?
Well, Zainab, did you finish your thought?
That's it.
Okay.
Sarah,
Anyway.
shut the fuck up.
No, yeah,
About not giving in to the vaccine mandates, especially.
But what's wrong with that? It seems like they're having a good time.
Yeah. So I got blocked by a few after that one, but I don't know. I thought it was
welcome to the club.
Right. I thought it was well done.
I don't get why you guys are so anti-woman. I think y'all need to be more accepting of different people and their sexual organs and their conversations that make you want to shoot yourself.
Here it is. Here's why it is, Drew. And unless you're not asking this seriously, but I have a wife who I respect the most of the women. My mom, my wife, my daughters, and then it's just a lot of trash. And so I'm not caring, and those specific ones are out there for reasons of like, hey, is Toad going to be in my DMs? That's really what they're after. So that's why I don't follow along. Anyway,
all right, well, that's some wisdom that I'll take with me. Women are trash.
There's a few women who I like and respect that have worked for the Mises Institute, but most of like the Liberty Twitter chicks are just clout chasing, like want attention and shit. And then they like want to tell men how to act. I'm just like, okay, I don't go to fucking makeup tutorial videos and say, do your hair like this if you want some dick, whore. Like, it'd be the same shit.
Well, you can like speaking of toasters, I'm gonna I hope you do that. Well, you can do a test on like Liberty Women's accounts, and I do this. So you look at how many like likes they normally get. Like say this person normally gets 20 likes on a tweet. So you'll do a little bit more than that. You'll say 50 likes. You'll do a search for their username, min faves, and then 50. Then you go to photos and you'll see, and it'll just be selfies of them. Every single time, the top like photos that they've ever sent are always just selfies.
Yeah, that's you see some of these accounts.
Drew, you're making my case for me here.
Right. Oh, to be a woman, right? I guess if I had a fake profile picture, like a woman, probably do pretty good.
Which is fine. Like, I don't mind. Like, I would rather them just be like, I'm here to get railed. Like, do that instead. Like, don't try to make me care about your milquetoast opinions.
All right. Well, speaking of which, that's about all we've had tonight. Milquetoast opinions. Drew, I really appreciate you coming in here, joining us, giving us some expertise on the Bitcoin. And of course, Andy, Garbage Man, you guys want to throw out your plugs or people to follow you or whatever you've got going on? Drew?
My Twitter sucks. If you want to follow my YouTube channel, I sent chats earlier in there so you can find it there, but it's just lockoutdays. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Lockout days. And check out his look, are all your videos back up? I know you maybe are disowning some of your old
there's
ones.
2 that are not back up. There one that I did kind of recently about like I don't even remember what it was called, but Mitch McConnell was in the thumbnail and it sucked really bad. So that one's not up. My big tech video from a while ago isn't up. Otherwise they're all back up.
Why is the big tech one down?
Because I disagree with a lot of what's in it and I don't think it's very good. I think it's one of like my worst produced videos.
You should play it like this and have it and then comment on it as if it's not you and rip it apart. And I'd be interested in watching that. So Andy, what do you got going?
Yeah, follow me at Liberty Lock Pod. I got a rap music video coming out soon. Stay tuned.
Okay. Well, I'm Tyler. Find me on Twitter. I've got things going there. Otherwise, we're going to do a Kill podcast again coming up, Andy and I. So look for us on that. And by the way, any of you, join us in. Drew's been part of this. He's
that was the first one, right?
One of the first ones, yeah. I don't know. You didn't join us when Black Mutualist was on, did you?
No, I joined. It was us and David Brady.
Okay. Yeah, David's been on a few of them. So, all right, everybody. Drew, thanks for coming on. I hope you have a good Friday. Your Chiefs, what's going on with them this weekend? And then Andy, you and your Oilers. Drew first. Go. Quick.
They play Monday. They're going to win.
Okay. And Andy, your Oilers.
The Titans play the Washington Commies, and Derrick Henry's going to get 120 yards and 2 touchdowns.
All right, there you go. Go Niners. That's all I've got. Out.
Okay, I'm leaving now. Bye, guys.
But she's back.
Chick-fil-A is completely overrated. It's not that good. I prefer Zaxby's. I prefer Popeyes.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
Should I vote for Dick Cheney on the Libertarian Party? Do I have an obligation to vote for Dick Cheney?
I would say so.
Yes.
Did it work for those people?
No, it never does. I mean, these people somehow delude themselves into thinking it might, but it might work for us.
That one dude was like, not a podcast. I can't find it anywhere. They don't have video.
Oh, yeah, Peter Janke. Yeah.
Yeah, I blocked him.
I'll do it. If he unblocks me, I'll...
He'll buy your shirt if you unblock him, Bert. He's a wigger.
Yeah, nothing cooler than a 49-year-old wigger. I just started live streaming. Cut me some slack. I'm pretty high tech for a boomer. But anyways,
boomer.